So let's talk quickly about an example, a Colonial Pipeline attack, which was really an attack on an IT system that then caused the Eastern Seaboard to basically shut down to protect that fuel supply. The consequences were devastating. I mean, this was 6 days of an outage. There were long lines at gas stations. And, I think the main message here is that you really inherit the vulnerabilities on the IT side when your OT and IT networks get connected. And so, again, thinking about a strategy that addresses the reality that those things are connected. In terms of 2023, if you haven't read the Drago's 2023 year in review for oil and gas, I would highly recommend that. There were 30 known ransomware incidents. I don't know how many of those you read about in the news, but they definitely wasn't 30. And, most of these, 2/3 of them basically started within that IT environment. So that's just echoing what I just got done saying about this connection between the two environments. Another thing that I think is important to understand is that less than half of them had issues with, I'll call it, defensible architecture. In other words, there were some structural things in which they had built their networks that meant that the consequences would be more severe if there was an attack. And in this case, we're really talking about the lack of sufficient segmentation. And then 21% had poor remote access security. That may sound like a small number, but keep in mind, the hacker only has to be right once. So if they have 1% poor remote access security, you need to have a strategy that takes into account and really eliminates that threat vector altogether.